by the arse intended to...
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to our next Beatles album review. We got a real special review today. This is one of the most acclaimed Beatles albums. We'll be talking about Rubber Soul. Jason will now give us the
background information.
All right. Well, of course, we're always talking about 1965 with the Help album because that came out earlier in 1965. They did that album and they did a movie again, and then went on tour during that time period. The most notable thing I think to talk about on the tour was they did their biggest concert ever, Shea Stadium, which is like very famous concert for them. They had like 50,000 people or something like that. It was like the biggest concert maybe anybody's ever done at that point. I don't think a band has ever put out two amazing albums in 1 year like this. Help and Rubber Soul back to back in the same year. That's crazy. That's crazy talent to be able to pull that off, I think. And so it's crazy. They come out with Rubber Soul, and I would say like around this point, they were starting to get tired of touring, and we're gonna see that with the next year when we talk about the next album. Like they're really wanting to stop touring, and they were more interested, I think, spending more time in the studio and doing more with the album, spending more time, putting a lot more effects in there, putting a lot more instruments in there, you know, making a different sound. And to me, this is a album that was a change, a little bit of a change. I mean, I feel like, it's definitely more influences from folk and folk rock, I think, on this album. If you go from Help to this album, I mean, I feel like you'd say, man, this is just a different sound. Like they really were changing, they were evolving. It's still the Beatles. I mean, you still got the great harmonies and melodies like that. But yeah, I don't know, something's just different. It's like they're just evolving at this point.
All right, well, let's start talking about all the songs on this album. We got our first album opener, and that is Drive My Car.
Drive My Car. The song itself is really good. I like the driving guitar riff on it. The harmonies are decent on this song. It's probably not one of their best songs with the harmonies, but it's good. The chorus is catchy and beep beep. I love that. Not the best opening track though, to be honest. Compared to Help from the last album and the next album with Taxman, you know, I feel like those openers are a lot stronger. It's an okay opener, to be honest. I feel like there was a better song on this out. I'll tell you guys which song it is when we get to that song, but I feel like there's a song that would have worked better as an opener, and that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I love this opener. It's a fantastic opener. To me, it's the I want to say the best or the heaviest rock song they've done to this point. I mean, if you go from Dizzy Miss Lizzy to this, I mean, you see a big step up in just the sound and everything, and just the guitar playing is just amazing on here. That riff, like Nick was saying, oh, I love that. And it's an unusual, like the whole song's just about someone needing a driver or the like fame or something. You know, it's not the usual like song you would write about, but that's what kind of makes it a little bit different, like I said, than what they've been writing before. And I'll say it's about Paul McCartney. I just want to say about him, like he never like originally wanted to be the bass player. He was a guitar player. He could have been the lead guitar player for the Beatles in an alternative world. I think he's that good of a guitar player. The guitar solo is the best solo I think they've done to this point. It's just a really good rocking solo. That he does that step up. I love it. And then you get to this song and this album, and I feel like Paul was like, you know what? I'm gonna be the freaking best bass player ever, and he just kills it at this point on. I think in the Beatles discography. And when I get to this album, I'm just like, wow, he just really stepped up a level as a bass player, in my opinion. On this, you know, and he plays guitar in some songs here and there, but I feel like he really owned the bass here, in my opinion.
This is a very good way to open up the album. I like the opening guitar riff, the and then I Got a Fever. The only prescription is more cowbell. Oh, such a good group. And then we get to the chorus. Baby, you can drive my car. Bum, 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 bum. And baby, I love you. And then it gets to the beep, 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 yeah. And then the guitar solo. This is just a very up-tempo rocking song, and I think it's a good way to introduce the new sound of the Beatles.
I think it's a great way to open the album. It's actually, I'd say it's the most rocking track on the album. It's not as folksy compared to the rest of the album, but I think it's a great way to showcase this new sound of the Beatles. This song has a great chorus. The production on it is pretty awesome. Is this my favorite song on the album? No, I'd say it's in the middle of my ranking, but it's still really, really good. Now we go to the next track on the album. We start going into that folksy side. It even has a sitar on it. Norwegian Wood.
This is an amazing song. This is in my top 5. Just gonna spoil it now. 4 John Lennon songs are in my top 5. He's at a peak right now.
This is Lennon's best album, in my opinion.
He has some great,
Yeah, this is right now. He's peaking. He's peaking right now.
This album and the next one are kind of the 2 best albums for the Lennon-McCartney songwriting partnership.
Yeah,
like where you get just as many good Lennon and McCartney songs, rather than before this it's more Lennon and after this it's more McCartney.
And then George puts his best work too. So yeah.
Oh yeah, George is starting to become a songwriting monster on this album.
Well, we get to him when we get to him, but yeah, the sitar works really well. I love the Indian influence on this one. Love the storytelling in such a short song. Always found it amusing how at the end he's like he gets up from the bathtub and then he burns something. I always assume it's the fire. He's burning the house down. When he says, "Isn't it good?" I'm like, "No, it's not good. Not good at all." But the song itself, though, was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously one of the big songs on this album that's very well known for a good reason. It's one of the great Beatles songs of all time. Yeah, it definitely has more of a folk influence from. It sounds like it could be on a Bob Dylan album. I mean, it's that good quality of like songwriting and everything. And yeah, I just love that acoustic guitar with the sitar together with that bum 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 bum. Oh, it's such a great like little like riff that goes throughout that song. And yeah, I think it's about how he was still married to his wife Cynthia, but of course he's having affairs like crazy on her. One of the great songwriting, I once had a girl, should I say, she once had me. Always a great opening, one of the best opening lines of a song, I think. And I just love how it flows as a song. It's an absolutely fantastic song.
Okay, so now we're starting with the folky sound. This song, it's a very interesting song because the scale that it's based off of is a mode. The guitar starts out and then you get the sitar behind that, which is really interesting. Apparently George Harrison was inspired to figure out how the thing worked after filming in India on the Help movie. Yeah, it's a cool song. It's not really one of my favorites on the album, but like this is a very good album, so all these songs are amazing. We already talked a little bit about the storytelling, kind of a weird story. John Lennon coming up with this affair story, and it's like, nope, she left me, so I'm going to burn her house down. It's like, that's kind of a weird way to end your song.
Yeah.
Not the darkest lyrics on the album, though. And if you think that John Lennon and all he's doing is writing these dark lyrics, listen to In My Life.
Going into the folksy side here, I love the production of this song, especially the use of the sitar. It drives into the melody of the song. Such a lovely melody. I forget this song has dark lyrics because of how lovely the melody is. But the storytelling in the song is fascinating. It's one of my favorites on the album. This is kind of John Lennon's album, I would say. 3 songs on this album are in my top 5 that are John Lennon's, and this is one of them. I think this song is fantastic. Next is You Won't See Me.
Yeah, this is a really good follow-up. Very catchy chorus. You won't see me. You won't see me. Lyrically, this song's amazing. Yeah, very enjoyable song.
Yeah, it's a great Paul McCartney song. It's not one of his bigger songs. I would say a little lesser known. It's one of the songs, if you don't know it, you get to on the album, you're like, oh, what is this? This is incredible. And this is even one of the best songs on the album. And you're like, man, there's so much good stuff here. But yeah, I just love that. You won't see me, you won't see me, and then that whole time after time, I wouldn't mind if I knew what I was like. The way he's a little bit higher and a little louder, and it's like this great crescendo. And it's like, oh my gosh, vocals amazing. Love everything. The backing vocals all work so well. It's a great song.
Another great song on this album. I love the piano that I believe is played by George Martin on this song. It adds a new layer of sound. I love the counter melody in the second half of the chorus, where when he's singing like "I wouldn't mind if I knew what I was missing," and I think it's John singing in the background. No, I wouldn't. No, I would. Ooh.
Yeah, this is a really good song. It's catchy. Good production. I love the harmonies. That you won't see me. With that said, it's my least favorite song on the album.
Oh.
That tells you how good this album is, though, because I really like this album. But just the song has to be in last place, and for me, I like the other songs more. Well, now we go to our next track. We go back to John Lennon.
Okay, this is a really good song as well. It's made my top 5. Really, really good song. Again, John Lennon's killing it lyrically. This song's about him. He wrote it specifically for himself. He's the nowhere man. The harmonies are great. Really, really good. I think musically it's really nice. Nice guitar solo. I will say. Really good song. Even though it's dark, it's brief. It's a fun dark song. Great song. Very enjoyable.
Yeah, this is another pretty big song in there. That's pretty well known, I think. One of the greats. It's one of my favorites. Pretty high up on when I did my Beatles ranking every song. It was pretty high on my list. I absolutely love this song. The acapella harmonies at the beginning, and then all the instruments come in. I love how they did that. Just again, a little more deeper meaning, I think, like we're talking about. Less about just pop songs about girls, and it has a little more deeper meaning to it, which I love. I love that guitar solo too. I loved how it does that dun, 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 and it hits this like high note, bing. It's like this ringing high note. And I'm like, oh, that's such an awesome touch that you don't get on other albums. I think definitely are just getting so much better instrumentally or something on here, like we're talking about. But yeah, it's the harmonies, some of the best harmonies ever. Love the song.
This song is amazing. Growing up, when I was first getting into the Beatles, I would listen to the Red Album. And I had a specific section of the Red Album that was always my favorite section. And Nowhere Man kind of was one of the kickoff points of that section. And then I came to find out that like that section was all the songs from Rubber Soul. So that made me check out the Rubber Soul album later on, because I'm like, most of my favorite songs on the Red Album are from Rubber Soul. I got to check that album out.
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed. But this song's always been one of my favorite Beatles songs. I love the a cappella opening, Paul, John, and George singing together. And I love the guitar solo. A fun fact about this guitar solo, George Harrison and John Lennon, apparently they play it in unison. They wanted a very specific sound for this song, so they wanted to buy a new guitar or 2 new guitars just for this song. So they had somebody, it might have been George Martin, I don't know who, but they had somebody go down to the store and buy them 2 Fender Stratocasters, which if you think of an electric guitar in your head, the shape you're thinking of is probably a Fender Stratocaster. George's guitar, it was blue originally, but he ended up painting it all these weird colors, and he named it Rocky. And so this is Rocky's first song. And if you want to know what Rocky looks like, it's most famously used in the I Am the Walrus music video. That's the guitar he's using in the I Am the Walrus music video. And I love the end of the guitar solo where it's like boom, 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 doing that harmonics on the guitar.
Yeah.
Really nice touch.
It's one of my favorites on the album. It's in my top 5. I think everyone else has said it best. The acapella intro is awesome. The guitar work is great. The harmonies are awesome. I don't think I realized until a couple weeks ago that John was writing this about himself. I think that makes the song more interesting. I think this is a really good song and one of my favorites on the album. All right. Our next song is the first of 2 George Harrison tracks, and that is Think for Yourself.
It's a great follow up. Kind of the same way with Drive My Car, just hits you right in the face with the guitar riff.
This is another very interesting song. I think what really drives the song is that fuzzy guitar sound. I remember first time hearing this album and being like, what is that? Like, I've never heard that sound before, and it's so cool. And to me, that's what makes the song go from just an okay song to a really cool song on the album.
This is where I feel like George kind of really steps into his songwriter's boots. This album, the bass and the vocals really play off of each other, and I like how the song just suddenly stops like that, dun 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 dun, and the next song picks up right where it left off. It's like dun 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 dun, bum bum bum. I like that.
Yeah, I really like this one as well. It's crazy to see the growth that George Harrison had. I think it's near the bottom of my personal ranking of the songs on this album, but it's still a catchy song. Great production. George is leading very well on this one. I'd still really like this one, even though I think there's another George song we'll get to I think is even better. The Word's Love.
In the word and you'll be free. So fat, sunshine. The word love. After that thumping guitar riff on Think for Yourself, and that when it ends, I instinctively hear the piano come right after it.
Yes.
It's
It's almost like We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions. You can't have one without the other.
Exactly. It's impossible for me to hear
Yeah.
Think for Yourself and not have this come right after it, because I was listening to this album on the way to the Ranger game, and my dad listened to it on shuffle, and then after this song, and then another song came on. I'm like, no, that's not how you do it. Yeah, I cannot hear Think for Yourself without bum bum ba-dum, bum bum ba-dum, bum. Yeah, it's awesome. And alas, it is not a top 5. I wish it was.
I know. Too many good songs on this.
Yeah, so many great songs here, and this to me a really great deep cut on the album. Kind of, it's not a well-known Beatles song at all. I love that intro, like Nick was saying. Oh, what a great intro! And then the harmonies are just so great. Like I said, the harmonies are so good on this album, including this one. And it's different, yet it works together for me. And it just shows how they've evolved, I think, as musicians.
The verses is so good. Look at the lyrics. Everywhere I go, I hear it said in the good and the bad books that I have read.
I love the harmonies, especially on the last verse. It's like they add more harmonies on the last verse.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody's talked about George Martin playing the harmonium yet. It's kind of an odd instrument. It's that weird sound that you hear. That's George Martin playing that. Yeah. I always think that like some of the instrument choices on this album are very odd, but yet perfect for the songs that they choose. Like this harmonium solo in the middle of the word. But that, and I love the piano. The piano and the guitar play off each other very well.
Yeah, this song is pretty catchy. I like the groove on it. The chorus is awesome. Say the word and you'll be free. Say the word. It's very singable. Not in my top 5, but it's at least in my top 10 on this album. It's pretty good. The last song on side 1, Paul McCartney tune. Very popular song on this album. Michelle.
In this series, I've kind of been hit or miss with Paul McCartney when he's like trying to be the lover boy, but this is a hit for me. For the most part, it's just good, but when he does the French, it adds texture to it. Like, I wouldn't say he's speaking French, but like he has that Frenchness to it. Like for some reason, it works. On any other circumstance, I'd be like, no, this is awful. But no, I really enjoy this.
So if Nick was a professional music critic, on the back of the case of Rubber Soul, it would say Paul McCartney seducing me in French.
The interesting trivia on this song is that it won the Grammy for Song of the Year. It's the only Beatles song that won the Grammy Song of the Year.
Oh wow!
I'm so shocked at that trivia fact that it won a Song of the Year. I'm like, man, give me Norwegian Wood, give me Nowhere Man, give me In My Life. That should be Song of the Year, not Michelle. But evidently it has a fan base because people liked it enough they gave it an award. So it must have a pretty big fan base. I've never been a big fan of it. It's a little slow moving to me. You know, I don't know. I'm never really into it. But I will say the guitar playing is really good, and Paul's vocals are really good. When I listened to this the other day, when he does that, I love you, I love you, I love you. That's really good Paul McCartney vocals. So I will say there's some good stuff about the song. But I don't know. It's never been a favorite of mine.
Man, it's such a beautiful song. I love the way that Paul McCartney is playing the guitar on this song. Very interesting chords used on this song. Kind of used to build tension. Apparently McCartney, like whenever the Beatles were at parties, he used to just whip out a guitar and start like playing that. He called it his French song. And so when they were in the studio, they're like, Paul, why don't you record your French song for this album? And so he's like, okay. And Michelle was put on the album.
I guess I might be the biggest fan of this song. The funny thing is, like, I've heard people talk about this song, but my introduction to this song was when I listened to the album for the first time. So this is a newer song for me. And yet it's one of my favorite songs on this album. It's in my top 5. I think this song is excellent. Great guitar ballad. Paul sings his heart out on it. The harmonies on it are really good. Really, really catchy song. I didn't even know this one Song of the Year until Jason brought it up. And to me, it's crazy that this is their only win when they have so many excellent songs that could have won along with it. But with that said, still a great song. I can see why it's a favorite among so many people, including Michelle Obama. It's a great song.
Yeah.
All right. So now we finish side 1, and now we flip the record and begin side 2. The last 7 tracks on this album. The first song on side 2, the song was written by 3 people: Paul McCartney, John Lennon, and some fellow by the name of Richard Starkey. All right, what goes on?
Well, I enjoyed the song. It's a good song on its own, but this song sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, I'd say the first song, Drive My Car, sticks out too for not being part of the folk sound, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of it being a country song. I don't think having a country song in the mix of kind of rock and folk songs belong.
Yeah, Ringo with another country-ish song on. Kind of reminds you of Help when he didn't act natural, but he does really well. It fits his voice, or for I think in a way. I think the harmonies are really good. Of course, the backing vocals are great. It's definitely one of the weaker songs on the album. It doesn't really fit with the rest of the album as well. Like I said, there's these great innovations, the way the music sounds in a lot of the songs, and this one just seems a little more just a simple country kind of sounding song.
It's probably near the bottom, but still, I like this song. It's one of the better Ringo songs. I like it when Ringo goes country. So maybe I'll like the Boku of Blues album. We'll see. Probably ranks near the bottom, but it's a fun little Ringo number.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to disagree with Nick. Not only do I think this is a great song, but I think it works on this album well. I think country and folk, even though they are technically different genres, I do think they are similar to one another, to where I think a full-blown country song would fit this album fine. And I actually think this is a great song. Ringo has proven to me that I actually prefer Ringo doing country sounds than some of his attempts to do rock music. I think I might like this song the most out of all of us. I think it's really awesome. All right, well, let's go to the next track. We're going back to John Lennon. The song is called Girl.
This song is awesome. This is a top 5 easily. Right, opens up right with, is there anybody going to listen to my story? All about the girl who came to stay. She's the kind of girl you want so much it makes you sorry. Still you don't regret a single day. I like the guitar solo in the middle. That's really cool. Or should I say the end? I think. Yeah, girl. Girl.
Yeah, this is a great song. It's another great deep cut, I think, on the album where like you wouldn't know it, I don't think, unless you heard the album and then you get to it. I remember first time again when I heard this album and I got to this song, I'm like, I don't know, there's something so cool about that whole, that girl and then the breathe in thing. Like I've never heard that before. And the Beatles never done anything like that before. It felt like it's just something experimental, something new to throw in there. And yet it's like so cool. And it's like, wow, that's such a cool. They could have done it without it, but they put it in. And it's like, wow, there's a different part, and the backing vocals hit in with that. Tit, 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 tit. And it's like, wow, that's cool. Backing vocals to John's again. His kind of his vocal work is just so great, and it picks up a little bit in that section, and it's almost a little aggressive the way he sings. I love it, and even the songwriting I think really cool as well here. Yeah, it's a great song.
I love this song. It's amazing. I love how it just starts out with him singing, "Is there?" and then the instruments come in. It's kind of very like free flowing. You kind of feel like it kind of gives off I'm in love with someone and like I just can't stop thinking about her kind of a vibe. Especially that's kind of what I don't really take it as I'm sniffing cocaine. I take it more as just like girl, girl like that. I love the middle section there where they kind of switch it up and it goes to more of a straight rhythm rather than the lazy rhythm. And the backing vocals going do 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 do, and they have the guitar with the bow 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 bow
Oh yeah,
bow down 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 right back into the girl. Sorry, allergies. But yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, all people rank this high as one of their favorites on this album. It's not as high on my ranking, but still a lovely track. I like especially where he and the rest of it was like, girl, girl. That's pretty cool. I think there's better John Lennon songs on this album personally, but I still really like it. And now we go back to Paul McCartney with I'm giving you.
yeah.
This is a song that I don't really see myself liking normally, but the guitar work is exceptional. Like I said, this is one of my least favorite songs on the album, though.
Oh man.
Yeah, I love the beginning, the acoustic guitar, I think, or whatever.
Well, I like it in the US version where like Paul like has mistakes in the beginning.
Oh, really?
That's what that would make the song even better. Like the song actually, the ranking actually goes up with that version because I like when little mistakes happens. It shows that even the Beatles are humans.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I love just how that begins with a bum bum bum, whatever how that begins and it gets right into the song. And again, a great Paul McCartney vocal. He's great. I love when like he goes that you don't look different, but you have changed. And the other Beatles come in with the harmonies. Oh, it's so cool. It's another really fantastic Paul McCartney song.
Yeah, this song is amazing. I love the guitar at the beginning. It was written about his girlfriend at the time, Jane Asher, who was the sister of Peter Asher of Peter and Gordon. Great guitar on here. I like the little switch up with the ba 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 da, da. And I love the line, "Love has a nasty habit of disappearing
Oh,
overnight."
such a great line.
That is
Oh,
a great line.
that is.
And then, man, some of the lines in this song are just roasts where he's like,
It's real.
you were above me, but not today," where it's like, sometimes when you think like she's too good for me, and then you get with her, and then it's like, well, now like you want to break up with her, and it's like, well, now you're not too good for me now. It's like, now I'm up here and you're down there. It's like the old switcheroo. You'll be wrapped around my finger.
Yeah.
Police reference. But yeah, like great song, really good lyrics. Man, it's gonna be so difficult making a top 5 for this album.
All right. So, yeah, this song's awesome. I love the guitar riff. Some of Paul's best vocals on the album. I'm looking for you. See, if this was on a lesser Beatles album, like if this was on like Beatles for Sale, this would have easily been in my top 5. But it's awesome. It's a great song. Next song on the album, Back to John Lennon. This is probably the best known song on the album. In my life.
Yeah. I don't know where to start with this song. The intro is beautiful. Bum 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 bum. Gets you right in the heartstrings.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs where the lyrics are awesome. The harmonies are outstanding. This song's a masterpiece, to keep it blunt. And there are 3 songs by the Beatles that are 5. There's 5 Beatles songs that are pretending to be my favorite Beatles songs when we do our top 10 at the end of the series. And this is one of my top 5 favorite songs. It took me forever. When I first heard this song, I thought it was overrated, but that was me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now I've grown older, and this song gets better and better for me to listen. Yeah. Love this song.
Yeah. First time I heard the song was actually watching the Beatles anthology documentary, which I saw it when it happened back in I think '95 when that documentary came out on TV, and it was like 3 nights in a row of it's a 3-part documentary. But I have it on DVD, and it's like a 5-part documentary on the DVD. They added a lot more stuff to it, and my favorite part of the whole documentary is at the beginning they have this montage of the Beatles growing older. They show them when they're like kids, and they montage them to where like they're towards the end of the Beatles, like in 1970 or whatever. And they played the song "In My Life" as a montage, and it works. It's just magnificent. It's like the greatest like documentary filmmaking I've ever seen. Like whoever that director that came up with the idea, it's like, man, that was like so perfect. The song worked so well for, and yeah, when I watch it, like I get a little teary-eyed because it's like, wow, you're watching the Beatles. They're progressing through their lives, and you're hearing this great song about reminiscing about the past. And of course, obviously the Beatles broke up way before I was born. Like, man, I wish they would have stayed together, kind of thing, because I have so many great memories of, them as just listening to the music as a kid, And anyways, and so I remember hearing that and going, what is this song? This is like one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. And I fell in love with that song. As soon as I saw the documentary, I was like, I didn't know. And then when I found out it was on Rubber Soul, I mean, it definitely helps this album be one of my favorite albums of all time. When I get to the song, it's my 3rd favorite Beatles song of all time. When I did my rankings, I mean, I absolutely love this song. Like the bum 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 bum. I absolutely love that. It's so great. Really makes that song. And then the harmonies. There are places we remember. The way they harmonize together, oh, so great. And I love when they, I love some of the lyrics here. When I'm trying to remember lyrics, but when he says, my life, I love you more. I don't know. I absolutely love that.
Of all these friends and lovers, there's no one that compares with you, and these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new.
yeah, yeah. But I love the idea. Like he throws in, and John's like only in his 20s, and he's writes this beautiful song about reminiscing, looking at the past, kind of thing, which is incredible that he was that mature enough to write a song like this. And yeah, then he adds in that "I love you more," so then it comes like almost this love song too. Oh, amazing! And then I love that last line of "In my life," how he hits those high notes. Oh my gosh, amazing! It's different. He never does it until that point in the song. That's something a little bit extra that makes the song even better. Oh my gosh, that's an amazing ending. And then he even slows it down. I love you more. Bum, 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 bum. Like, oh, amazing ending. One of the great songs of all time.
You're just describing that, and I literally was just getting chills thinking about this song. Starting out with that guitar riff, ba, da, 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 da. And then like what'll happen is like they'll kind of switch it up a little bit where the beat will go, and then it'll go right back into that beat. Ringo's drumming. The lyrics on this song are lovely. It is talking about reminiscing about life and all these things you've done, but then signaling out that there's somebody who's very special, who's like you love even more than all of the things that you've done in your life. That is lovely. That is lovely right there. And I know Jason was talking about that last line. Man, I love the last line. And then it slows down. We haven't even talked about my favorite part of the song yet, though.
Yeah.
The piano solo. So halfway through the song, the song seemingly goes into double time, and you get what sounds like a classical, like clavichord or something like that. And it's very like Bach, almost like a Bach Baroque fugue sounding thing. And I remember the very first time I heard this song was when I listened to the Beatles' Red album, and I'm like, "What is that sound?" And I asked my mom, "What is that sound?" And then she just said, "Oh, they probably just had a keyboard's sound setting that you could set to make it sound like that." You didn't have that back then. If you had an electric piano, it would just have one sound, the electric piano sound. So, that sound on this piano has always intrigued me. I'm like, how did they get the piano to sound like that?
Yeah.
I found out. The piano was played by George Martin. He slowed the tape down to half speed and played this Baroque sounding piano thing with he played it hand separately. He played the right hand and then he overdubbed the left hand because they're both doing very contrapuntal things to each other in true Baroque fashion. And then whenever he sped the tape up to full speed, that's the sound you get. So what you're hearing is George Martin overdubbing two piano parts, a right hand and a left hand, that he played at half speed, sped up to 2 times speed. But the first time I heard that, I'm like, I hear I'm like, who played that? Because that's insane. And like, how did they do that? And then when I figured out how they did that, I was like, and that's when I realized the genius of George Martin.
Yeah.
Because he's going to do stuff like from this point on in the discography, George Martin's going to do stuff like this. He's going to like find weird, wacky ways to add extra like dimensions to the Beatles songs through cool, crazy stuff like playing a piano at half speed and then speeding it up, making it sound like a classical Baroque song. Anyway, you can tell I like this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, this song is excellent. I don't really have much to add. This is a wonderful song. One thing I will add, I know John always would pick on Paul McCartney for writing some of those songs that are more sentimental and say, oh, those are his granny songs. And I've always resented that term, which I kind of find it weird that John would accuse Paul of doing that when, in all honesty, this could easily have been John Lennon's granny song. I think it's a fantastic song. I love how sentimental it is, reflecting on nostalgia and where he is in the present. I think it's a beautiful track, and it's in my top 5. Wait.
Oh, this song's catchy. Very, very catchy. Oh, man. So much catchy songs on this album. There isn't really much to distinguish it though. For that, it's on the lower end, but it's a great song.
Yeah, this is such another great deep cut, as I call it, because it's not a well-known Beatles song at all. But yeah, it's so amazing. Like I said, that beginning part is so great. And I just love how they transition to that wait, how they do that real quick. Wait, when you come back to my side. When they did that part, the harmonies. What I love about the song is the harmonies are so good. It's one of the best harmony songs. It's not a well-known one either. It's not one you think about, but when I think about this album, that's one of the songs I think about. Wait is like one of the hidden gem songs that no one talks about, but is absolutely fantastic. It's one of those, so many great Beatles songs, and yet you forget about this song. Wait, a really good song that more people should know about.
I like this song. It probably ranks near the bottom, but it's still very fun. I love Ringo's drum fills on this one, especially that one on right before they get to the wait section. I like how it's like a lot of these songs just start with just the vocal and then the instruments come in. I like that about this album. What I really think is really good about this song, it's very interesting, is that the song ends on a minor chord, which you don't expect it to.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to go there. I was expecting it to go, I've been alone, but no, it goes, I've been alone.
Close it down. Yeah.
And I like the George Harrison's using those volume swells again, kind of like he was doing on I Need You in the last album.
Yeah, this song is awesome. It's in my top 10. Pretty awesome song, especially the harmonies. Wait, there's no turning back. Very catchy song. I don't really have much else to add. It's awesome. All right, second to last song. Going back to George Harrison. If I needed someone.
Well, I remember earlier in the video when I said that George Harrison had my least favorite song on the album. Well, it's quite the opposite for this one. This is one of my favorites on the album. Easily a top 5 song. The harmonies.
Yeah.
The harmonies. If I needed someone to love, you're the one that I be thinking of. And the harmonies come in. If I needed someone.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I'm right with Nick. It's one of my favorite songs on the album. And I think maybe one of the more underrated songs on here of all the big name songs, I think.
Oh, yeah. Like when you think big songs on this album, you think Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man, Michelle, In My Life, but people never talk about this song.
No, and it's one of my favorite George Harrison songs. In fact, and just what Nick said, the harmonies, some of the best harmonies they've ever done, I think, when they did that. If I needed someone, amazing harmonies on those notes and how they end that. Guitar playing is really good too. I love the old guitar riff here as well. Throughout, and I love the part where they're going and then he's playing like a guitar solo. Oh, so amazing. And even I like the whole idea of the song is like, I don't need you now, but maybe in the future I'll need you. So if I need someone, you're the one I'm gonna pick. Like, it's not the most endearing time, but if you're a Beatle, you probably have girls lined up. He's becoming almost as good as Lennon McCartney at this point. And I think definitely by the next album, he's just as good stuff as what they're doing. So yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, we got another really great George Harrison number here. This one was inspired by the Byrds, actually. George Harrison trying to kind of sound like the Byrds. Particularly a song from their album Mr. Tambourine Man called The Bells of Rhymney. In fact, the guitar solo, if you listen to The Bells of Rhymney, is almost a direct ripoff. The rest of the song sounds nothing like The Bells of Rhymney, though. It's all George Harrison, but that guitar riff is kind of like a slightly sped-up version of The Bells of Rhymney. But Byrds are inspired by the Beatles, and now the Beatles are inspired by the Byrds. You got the Byrds and the Beatles. This is the first time George Harrison ever used a key change in his songs, which George Harrison, he uses key changes a lot later on. I know there's a big one in Something. like a lot of songs he uses later on. Yeah, and While My Guitar Gently Weeps, like a lot of George Harrison's songs are characterized by key changes, and so this is the first time he does it. That the chorus is kind of in a different key than the verse is. And I love the guitar. I love the harmonies, and I love the jangly guitars that you can tell are inspired by good old Jim McGuinn from the Byrds. So yeah, very good song.
Good point.
All right. So we've gone for a lot of George Harrison songs at this point, and I'm going to say it now. Up to this point, this is George Harrison's best song. I'm glad, Scott, you brought up that this feels like a Bird song, because when hearing this song, I felt like I was hearing Turn, Turn, Turn almost sonically.
Yeah.
Very Birds inspired. Now we go to the album closer. We're talking about Run for Your Life.
Well, I'd rather see a dead little girl than to see with the mother man.
Very first line.
This is the very
That's the
first.
first line.
I don't know which Elvis song it was inspired from,
Yeah.
but
That's right.
I know it's inspired from Elvis.
Yeah.
Of Maybe
It's
Let's Play
Elvis
House.
Country. I'm 10,000 years old.
No, it says the line was taken from an early Elvis song called Baby Let's Play House. That's been ages since I've heard that song.
I was to say it's probably a song that I probably won't like at all, but yeah, this is a song I like a lot. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, to be honest. It barely missed out in my top 5 range, to be honest. As the closer though, no, this is not how you close an album. No.
Yeah, it's definitely a very divisive song, or very controversial song nowadays, because it's very misogynistic.
Yeah.
As they would say. Lyrically, I do not like the whole kind of violence towards women. Like, nah, I'm not a fan of that part of it. But it is a good rock song, and the guitar is great. It's maybe the second rockiest, like Nick said. The Drive My Car is probably maybe the most rocking song, and this is maybe the second, or maybe this is the most rocking song. I can go either way. And they book in the album here. So it's one of those things where, like, I like the music, but I don't like the lyrics, so I'm kind of like in the middle. Definitely usually towards the bottom of my list when I talk about Beatles songs. It's not when I, just because of the lyrics, but yeah, musically, there's a lot of good stuff. So yeah, I'm in the middle.
So this song and a song that we're going to talk about coming up, Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones,
Yeah.
are 2 songs that just have trashy lyrics, but they're just so catchy that it's like, because I think this is it's got a cool beat to it. I like the bow, bow, down, 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 and I love the kind of frantic drumming that Ringo was doing on this song as well. But it's like, bruh, murder? Really? Like, I don't know. I like the music, but the lyrics are awful.
All right, so my thoughts on this song. Yeah, this is the darkest song on the album. I don't mind it being the closer, because I think you got Drive My Car as the opener. This is the closer, so your 2 rocking songs are your bookends. I'm fine with that. This song didn't really bother me that much. Yeah, it's dark, but it's catchy. This song doesn't really. I don't really see why people get all up in arms about this song. I know John Lennon's not actually going to go out and kill somebody. I think it's supposed to be more tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
So a song like this doesn't bother me compared to, we'll talk about on Sticky Fingers, like Brown Sugar. But it's in my bottom 3. I will say that. All right. So what is your top 5 songs on the album?
Number 5, Norwegian Wood. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Girl. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Nowhere Man. Number 2, I'm gonna go with trying to remember If I Needed Someone. The number 1, In My Life.
All right, I have some similarities there. I agree with you on all that. Number 5 for me, I have Drive My Car. Number 4, If I Needed Someone. Number 3, Norwegian Wood. Number 2, Nowhere Man. And just like Nick, In My Life, best song on here.
Yeah.
Number 5 is If I Needed Someone. Really great George song. Number 4 is Drive My Car. I like that one. Number 3 is Girl. Number 2, Nowhere Man. And number 1, In My Life.
Nice.
Got the trifecta there.
Yo.
Number 5, If I Needed Someone. Number 4, Nowhere Man. Number
Nice.
3, Norwegian Wood.
Nice.
Number 2, Michelle.
All right.
Somebody got to put it in the top 5.
Number 1, My Life.
But that song sticks out because of how great it is. The
So
lyrics,
good.
it's lyrically amazing, it's musically amazing, and this is vocally amazing.
All right, what are we going to rate this album? But yeah, we'll go backwards because I'm sure Nick will probably break the average based on what he said in the past. I'm going to give this is a first for a Beatles album.
Yes.
Yeah, even the weaker songs on the album does not hurt the score in any way. I don't mind Run for Your Life as the closer. I think the 2 rock songs work as bookends. There's a lot of amazing songs on this album. This is the first time I think this is easily the most cohesive Beatles album to date. It's just some amazing songs on here, some of which are really underrated, like songs I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
Are on this album that's now my favorite Beatles album up to this point. Will it stay my favorite?
Yeah. No, it's a 10 out of 10. This album is amazing, and its cultural significance really deserves to give it a 10 out of 10 just because this is kind of the first album.
Yeah, it's obviously a 10 out of 10 for me. I just did a whole video on my channel covering the album. It's my second favorite album of all time. Yeah, I've always loved this album, like you're talking about. And I just have to back up what Nick said that, not Nick. Well, who's Nick? Scott.
I'm Nick now.
It's getting late. Back in what Scott said, it's one of the most significant albums in rock history because it's all originals, no covers, no filler. A lot of albums had covers and fillers. They were like, here's a couple hit songs, and then we'll fill the rest of the album with whatever. They're more interested in putting out the singles and not the great albums. And so I think you see the albums. I mean, we all can agree. I mean, albums get so good from this point on. The way people think about how to put an album together changes at this point. So saying all that, it's an amazing album.
That's a 10 out of 10 right
Oh,
there.
really? Okay.
Norwegian Wood, You Won't See Me, Nowhere Man, and If I Need Someone. That's a 10 out of 10.
All right. Thank you all for sticking with us. Next time on our Beatles series, we'll be covering Revolver. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night. See you all in the next one.
Peace and love and peace.